Hello YouTube, Devin here again, and today we have another helmet for you. And this is actually probably my favorite Russian helmet because it has a lot of the features I look for, and but it also has a lot of flaws that I really don't like. But we'll cover that when we get into the video. And this is the Russian 6B27 helmet, and this came out as a family of helmets in like the mid 2000s. I'm like around 2005, 2006. Uh, they were manufactured by a company called Ni Stali, which is a company I mentioned before. If you've seen my SSH-68N video, because they also made that helmet. They make a lot of the Russian helmets, and this is the version 2 of the 6B27. You could tell by the digital coloration of the shell. It's not like painted on. It's actually the fabric they used. Like it's in the helmet. The digital flora pattern is in the helmet. It's not painted on or put over. You could see the layers of the fabric right there. That are digital flora. There's spots all over the helmet that are like that, where you could see the overlap in the fabric there. So this helmet is part. This coloration is part of the helmet. So now this helmet is a little bit strange because it used like big sheets of aramid fiber that they were smashed with plastic. So they didn't use like a special resin or anything. They literally just used like plastic. And it's not very good plastic because the outer layer, I don't know if you can see this, has little scrapes and cuts in it. And you can feel like the top part up here. You could feel the fabric underneath, like the weave of the fabric. It was just a thin layer of like waxy plastic that they used. So, and they used that in the binding of the layers and everything like that as well. So this helmet is it's actually very ballistically effective, and it was produced for very cheap. But the thing is that the finish tends to chip off quite easily, exposing just the normal fibers. Like that big spot right there, you could actually just feel the weave of the plastic, the weave of the fibers in there, because the plastic or whatever it is they used has just chipped off. Now this helmet, it was produced in a series of helmets for the Russian military, and this was their like first standard helmet that they were going to try to get to everybody. Was the 6B27. Well, the 6B27 family of helmets. Now, we'll talk about a little bit some of the other members of this family. There is the 6B26, which looked exactly the same as this, but the shell was thinner, and it was made to be lighter weight to be used by mountain troops. And then there's the 6B28, which the bill is cut off, so it's just flush in the front, and it's a little bit shorter up, so a little bit closer to the suspension points here, so that it was also lighter and everything like that. And that was one that was designed to be used for airborne troops. So it was cut back a little bit to reduce the chance of it catching on stuff like that, and allowing you to be able to hear, as well as cutting back the weight and the chance of it snagging on stuff. So they cut the shell back quite a lot on the 6B28. And the original 6B27 would have just been like painted green. It wouldn't have had this digital pattern put right into the helmet. So, but they all pretty much have the same liner, and they all have this kind of fabric rim. A lot of the helmets that you'll see around the world will have this kind of fabric rim around them, especially those from like the eastern countries. You'll also see a lot of the helmets see these like kind of folds in the shell. You'll see that a lot too, because of the design process. It doesn't really make the helmet any less effective, but it just doesn't look as nice as Western helmets. This has pretty much a Pazgat style liner. It's got a pretty awkward shape, but it's actually a really, really effective shape. It gives you a lot of peripheral vision. It still has a bill to protect your eyes and stuff like that. It has enough ear protection as well, but not deep enough like a PASGAT to hinder you from using comms. And it has a very, very wide, very, very high nape. So you can go prone with this helmet very easy. But like all Russian helmets, this thing looks absolutely gigantic on your head because they only made it in a few sizes. They didn't have that customizable fit option that a lot of the like Western helmets have, where there's so many different sizes and everything like that to make sure it gets perfect. So you'll see a lot of Russian soldiers with people that have helmets that are like twice the size of their head, and that's just how they do it. So, but we'll take a look at the suspension now, and this is actually really where all the flaws of the helmet are. The suspension is all pretty much one stitched piece. So all of this is all stitched together except for the chin strap here. This chin strap is the only separate parts of this helmet. Everything else is all stitched together except for that little ring. So if something goes wrong in this, you have to junk the whole thing. And these little tabs or bars or washers or whatever you want to call them are also the washers for the helmets. You have to get a weird fucking screwdriver that has 2 teeth on it and a little separation to unscrew these because they didn't use normal screws, because this thing right here, this little black thing, is also the screw. So, and what you would do is when you undo this, there's little hooks that face towards the front of the shell right here, and you can pull the suspension out of it and reuse the screws, which I'll probably do, because this, if you can't tell, this suspension is a little bit gross. And I'll put in a new one, one that actually has a fast clip buckle and everything like that, an actual like snap for more secure attachment, which we'll get into. That's probably the biggest flaw of this helmet, is the attachment. So, and but other than that, the Russians still pretty much used the same liner. They changed the color a little bit. It went from this kind of tan to a darker green. As you can see, it's still pretty much a PASGAT, just with a donut at the top, but they used a wider ring of fabric and they double loop it, so it's a little bit more cushioned. It doesn't cut into your head as bad. The sweatband is like 3/4 inch cloth, and it has all these fabric reinforcements which cut into your head pretty easily. It's so thin, and it's a really abrasive material. It's like a polyester cotton mix, so it's kind of like sandpaper against your skin, and especially since that band is so thin, it can cut into your head really easy because you have to have it pretty tight to keep it secure. And the adjustment on it is just horrific. You have to adjust. There's 2 sets of cloth rings over here. This one adjusts the outside of the suspension, and this one adjusts the sweatband. So that's just a nightmare trying to adjust that stuff. So has a 3-point chin strap just held in place at the back and the 2 temples. So this chin strap is made out of the same exact fabric as the suspension. And this is where the problem occurs with the helmet. The biggest problem and complaint with this helmet is it's made out of like kind of an alloy. It looks kind of like a coppery alloy hook here, and a D-ring essentially on the other side. And these tended to come loose really, really, really easy because you could just jump if your helmet wasn't on super tight or anything like that. You could bump your helmet. It was really, really easy to undo the chin strap, which means it's really, really easy for the helmet to fall off your head. And that just tends to be a major, major problem, and the Russians addressed that in the models following this. And when they updated these 6B, the 6B26 is still in use with mountain troops. The 6B28 is still in use with airborne troops. So you can see those two still in use, but the 6B27 isn't really in use with the standard army anymore. Those are being replaced by the 6B71M and the 6B47. And these have all gone kind of to like Ministry of Interior troops as well as like border troops. Get the 6B27s, and they've put the new liners in them that have the more secure suspension points and stuff like that. Only the ones that left service earlier, such as this one, or ones that are just sitting on the shelves that nobody is using right now because they have already filled all their positions. They haven't updated yet. So, because there's no point in updating it if it's just going to get sold off and thrown away easier. That's just wasting more money. So the Russians are not very keen on wasting money when it comes to the military. They like to make sure every dollar goes towards something useful. So you can find them with both the newer suspension, like like if you saw in my 6B47 video, or you can find them with the older type suspension as this. So you can find them both ways. I recommend you get the newer type that doesn't have the hook if you actually plan on wearing this, because it will be a lot more comfortable and it will be a lot more secure. So, but the liner in these is all in all a pain in the ass. This helmet was used, but it was used pretty gently. It's just old. This is one of the first 6B47. Sorry, you can see the 6B27, and then the two lines following it are the 2, which is because this is the Mark II. It's the digital Flora one, and then this isn't an A or anything. This symbol right here, it's actually 3 little pyramids standing on top of each other, which I don't know what that means. I'm guessing it's probably the manufacturer. And then on this side, we have the numbers corresponding to the factory and the position, the line that made it, the inspector and stuff like that. So, but that's all the markings that are in this helmet. There's no tag. It didn't come with a manual or anything. It's still a really, really effective helmet though. Despite being the same size as a Pazgat and stuff, it's about probably 75% of the weight. It's really heavy for a Russian helmet actually, because the Russian helmets, they're made out of a special fiber and everything like that, and they're ungodly light. Like my 6B47 in size large is less than half the weight of an ACH size large. But this one, compared to a Pazgat, it's about 75% of the weight of a size large Pazgat. And this is the size large 6B27. So here you can see the chin cup. It's just sewn in place. And then here's the ring that they use to secure the chin strap in. So it's still overall a really, really good helmet. I've been looking for one for a long time because these aren't allowed to leave Russia for a lot of reasons. A lot of military hardware isn't allowed to leave Russia, especially the newer stuff. Like these, even though these are already 10 years old, a lot of them are. So if you do find one, either the 6B26, 6B27, 6B27 Mark II, or 6B28, they're all going to be really, really effective helmets. They're made out of something that a special fiber and a mixture of aramid and stuff like that doesn't expire for some reason. They say that they're aramid, but aramid breaks down actually. So yeah, I don't understand what it's made of then, because this helmet actually has a longer shelf life supposedly than most Kevlar helmets. It's about twice as long. Kevlar you're supposed to place every 5 years because it breaks down, but these have like a 10 to 12 year shelf life, I'm told. So they can sit around for a lot longer than other helmets. They do tend to wobble a little bit just because of their suspension, which is why I recommend you replace the suspension. I might even replace it, if you can get one of the lightweight helmet suspensions. You're kind of destroying history doing that, but if you're looking at it from a tactical purpose, I'd probably get one of the lightweight helmet suspensions and drop it in here, because that would make it way, way, way more secure. So you could also drop a 4-point chin strap into this if you could find one that would span. These bolts are really, really far apart. If you could find one that could do that, or modify a 4-point chin strap to fit in here, that would probably be the best way about going out the shell to utilize it to the best of its abilities. So, because it's a very, very innovative shell design, as you can see there. So that's how it would sit on your head, how much field of view you have and everything like that, as well as still providing great coverage. So we'll leave this video here then. Hopefully you guys like this. I've been waiting to do a video on this helmet for like 2 months. It's been in the mail since it shipped on like January 4th of this year. So, and I just got it yesterday. So it's been in the mail for a long time. So I've been waiting to do a video on this helmet for quite a while. And so hopefully you guys enjoy it. This is a very, very rare piece outside of Russia. So if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave me, drop me a comment, and I'll do the best I can to answer them for you. And if you like this video, please, if you're into this sort of thing, please subscribe if you're new. Subscribers have kind of leveled out over the last few days. But overall, I'm really, really excited where the channel's going and everything like that. I like the support. I really like how some people who know more stuff about some of the videos I'm doing are leaving comments, correcting me and stuff like that, because this channel is to get information out to the people. So please feel free, if I get something wrong, to correct me in the comments or do anything like that. It's all about the learning experience here. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope to see all you guys in the next video. Bye.